Sound of gentle, steady rain begins and continues softly throughout. Hello and welcome. Find a comfortable spot, let your body relax, and allow the gentle sound of the rain to wash over you. Tonight, we're going to drift back in time to a world just beginning to embrace the simple pleasure of public leisure. We're exploring a quiet, unassuming part of our daily lives, the invention of the park bench. Our story doesn't begin with a grand pronouncement or a famous inventor, but with a subtle shift in how we viewed our cities and ourselves. In the early 19th century, cities across Europe and America were growing at an incredible rate. They were places of industry, commerce, and often a great deal of grime and noise. The idea of a park as we know it today, a green sanctuary for everyone, was still a new and radical concept. Before this time, open spaces were often the private grounds of the aristocracy or wild, untamed commons. For the average person, there was no designated place to simply sit and enjoy the outdoors in the city. The streets were for walking, for working, for moving from one place to another. There was little room for pause, for reflection, for simply being. But a change was in the air. Social reformers and city planners began to advocate for public parks. They saw them as the lungs of the city, places where people from all walks of life could breathe fresh air, escape the crowded tenements, and enjoy a moment of peace. They believed that access to nature was not a luxury, but a necessity for a healthy and happy population. As these first public parks began to appear in cities like Paris, London, and New York, a new practical problem arose. People would come to stroll along the winding paths, to admire the flower beds, and to watch the world go by. But where were they to rest? You could sit on the grass, of course, but that wasn't always practical, especially in formal attire. The need for public seating became obvious. The very first park benches were often simple, utilitarian affairs. Some were stone slabs, cold and uninviting, more like architectural features than comfortable seats. Others were basic wooden planks placed on stone or iron supports. In France, in the mid-19th century, chairs began to be placed in parks like the Jardin des Tuileries in Paris. However, you often had to pay a small fee to an attendant, a chaisier, to use one. The seat was for rent, not a free right for all. The idea of permanent free seating for everyone was revolutionary. It was a democratic statement. It said that this space belonged to you, the public. It invited you to stay, to linger, to make the park your own, without needing to pay for the privilege of rest. This was a profound shift. The design we often associate with the classic park bench, the cast iron legs with wooden slats emerged. During the Victorian era, this period was a golden age for ironwork. New casting techniques made it possible to create ornate, decorative, and durable frames for benches. These weren't just functional. They were beautiful. The iron could be molded into elaborate patterns of leaves, vines, and animals, turning a simple piece of furniture into a small work of public art. Imagine the scene in a Victorian park. A family rests on one of these new benches. The father reads his newspaper, the mother watches her children play on the manicured lawn. It was a picture of domestic tranquility brought out into the public sphere. The bench facilitated this. It was a piece of outdoor furniture that created a temporary, personal space within a larger, shared one. It allowed for both quiet observation and social interaction. These benches were built to last. The strong iron frames could withstand the weather, and the wooden slats, often made of durable teak or oak, could be easily replaced if they became worn or damaged. This combination of strength and repairability is why so many of these original Victorian designs can still be found in parks around the world today, silent witnesses to generations of conversations, first dates, and quiet moments of contemplation. The placement of these benches was also carefully considered. They were arranged along scenic pathways, offering views of ponds, flower gardens, or bustling cityscapes. They were clustered under the shade of large trees, providing a cool respite on a hot summer day. They were positioned to encourage both solitude and sociability. A single bench tucked away in a quiet corner invited introspection, while a row of benches facing a bandstand created an impromptu outdoor theater. As the 20th century progressed, bench designs began to evolve. The ornate Victorian style gave way to the simpler, cleaner lines of modernism. New materials like concrete and steel were introduced. Designers experimented with form and function, creating benches that were ergonomic, sculptural, and sometimes even playful. But the fundamental purpose remained the same: to offer a free place to rest, to wait, to watch, to just be. The park bench is more than just a place to sit. It's a stage for the unscripted drama of everyday life. It's where friends reunite, where strangers strike up conversations, where a weary worker takes a lunch break. It's where you might read a book, watch the seasons change, or simply sit and think. It's a symbol of community, of shared space, and of the quiet, simple right to do nothing at all. Think of all the stories a single old park bench could tell if it could speak. The whispered secrets, the joyful laughter, the silent tears. It has held the young and the old, the hopeful and the heartbroken. It has been a constant, steady presence in a world of constant change. So as you continue to relax, drifting deeper into rest with the sound of the rain, let your mind wander to a quiet park. Picture a simple bench, weathered by time and the elements. Feel the solid wood and cool iron beneath you. It's a small, humble invention, but it represents a grand idea that everyone deserves a place to rest, to find a moment of peace in our busy world. It is a quiet gift from the past to our present, a legacy of care written in wood and iron. Thank you for joining me on this gentle journey tonight. I hope these stories have brought you a sense of calm and comfort. If you enjoyed this time together, please consider following for more quiet histories. Sleep well, and may your dreams be peaceful.